Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 30th. And at one time, May 30th was fixed as Memorial Day. But that changed many years ago when we decided we needed a Monday holiday. So several of our holiday traditions like Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday have now become an entirely different time for celebration. We've added a lot of Mondays to our holiday schedule, and in February we've added a week as President's Week or something. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the compromise that was agreed to over the weekend between Joe Biden and Kevin McCarthy. And as I suspected, there are many on both sides of the aisle who are unhappy with what the other people got in the dealings with this compromise. And one of the things that upset me is that the progressives, the liberals on the Democratic side, object to people having to work for some of these programs. The Special Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, they raised the working age to 54. Now, if you're capable of working, then I believe that you could work till the age of 67, the retirement age. Why do we have an age of 54 for people? Is it unfair to ask people who are capable of working to doing some work for a special nutrition assistance program? I don't think that's unreasonable. And in this agreement, we eliminated the requirements for veterans and homeless people to have to work. But I don't know about homeless people, whether I would eliminate them from having to work. Certainly eliminating veterans is wonderful. You could give veterans anything you want. I'm in favor of that. But when people are homeless, in many cases that's a choice. And I understand rents are expensive and there's lots of things like that. But if you become homeless, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're entitled to things and you don't have to work. Now, one of the big problems in this country is the minimum wage. You know, in many places in this country, the minimum wage is still $7.50 or something. We don't have a national minimum wage that's required. That's governed by state. And rents are outrageous in many parts of this country. So I look at this thing, and each side, McCarthy gave something and Biden gave something. And that's the way it is when you're trying to make a compromise deal. You can't have everything that you want. That's not the way it works. You have to give a little to get a little. And on balance, I think Joe did a very good job. He didn't give away too much. Yes, we're required to maintain the current spending levels. They're talking about a level at the 2022 level, but in reality, it's really going to be more like 2023. So is that bad? Is that a bad thing for this country, that we're going to have the same kind of spending levels? And yes, we lost a few people who work for the IRS in that $80 billion package that was reduced to $70 billion. But in my mind, as I said yesterday, you can replace all those people in the jobs they did with robots. And that's a bad thing, right? AI is taking many, many jobs away. And we, in this bill, should have taken a look at that. And why shouldn't we tax corporations for having robots? See, one of the things they said is we didn't raise the tax rates in the bill. So nothing changed there. But I suggest that if you hire robots, you have to pay federal tax on those robots, the same amount of money as if you had a person working for you. You're not paying a wage, you're just paying the tax portion of what that person would have made. Because I think it's crazy that when you can when you buy a robot to do the job of a person, and this robot has no vacation days, no sick time, no bathroom breaks, none of those things. He can work 20 to 24 hours a day. So you're getting away with murder if you can hire a robot to do the work of a human being. So the least you could do is pay the effective taxes that you would have paid for whatever that person made, or just pay the taxes based on the minimum wage. And companies get a depreciation on the costs of the robot, because the robot's lifespan might only be 5 years or 10 years. Think about that. Think about that. Because there were no corporate tax raises in this bill. There was nothing like that. So, on balance, a compromise is a great idea, but there are many things that could have been done. And there's no reason for people to bitch about what actually took place. They weren't in the room and they don't know what really had to be negotiated. And it's not only the Democrats that are unhappy, the Republicans are unhappy. The Republicans are not happy with the amount of spending that they wanted to cut back on. They got very little of that. And in fact, the way it was laid out, it's probably virtually nothing. There was virtually no cut in spending the way this thing is laid out. And of course, certain things were left off the table, like the tuition assistance plan is not mentioned in this whole thing. So, on balance, I think both of these gentlemen did a good job for their respective parties. They got some of what they were expected to get, and they didn't get everything. And that's what compromise is. You get together, you talk things out, you give up something to get something. And the other guy gives up something to get something. That's the object of the game. The object of the game is to keep the country moving. Keep us away from a financial disaster that going through the debt limit was going to cause us. So for those of you who are unhappy with what was given up, remember that you got something in return for that. It wasn't a total loss on either side. It wasn't the greatest victory for anybody either. Let's just call it a necessary stalemate. And the country moves on without having a disastrous couple of weeks. And I leave you with those thoughts today. You will never get everything you want every time you want it. That's life. So be happy that you're alive. Have a great day.